Hello and welcome to J.P. Murray's Association Hustle Podcast. President of the Murray Company, JP's mission is to arm today's associations with insight and strategy to thrive in a progressively complex and competitive business landscape. 21st century associations must move forward with a little bit of hustle and revenue development at their core. Here's JP.
I spent some time reflecting over the last several weeks about the survival qualities during this unbelievable pandemic for our business. And I came up with about half a dozen steps or things that I've learned that have helped us survive and actually in some ways kind of flourish during the pandemic. The first and most important thing is we as a business went where the money was. And that could include PPP loans. I mean, there was an environment there in February and March where there was no money in association sales, no money in membership, no money in sponsorship. Everything was basically locked down. Where was the money? The money was in the government. And we as a business felt like, hey, this is what it's for. Let's go for it. And we spent a lot of time trying to get that money. And I got to tell you, it really helped us navigate the future. The second thing that really was a survival quality, and I didn't know it at the time, is that we adapted a virtual work environment years ago. When the pandemic came and we had to shut down the business, that wasn't really disruptive for us. We measure work based on what you do, not where you're at. So that kind of environment, while people were struggling with this, hey, how do we do it? And how do we stay connected? And what's the way that we have the resources for our people to operate at their homes, as an example, we didn't have that problem. We were already set up that way. The third thing I learned was how important it was to have diversified revenue streams without losing focus. As many of you know, if you listen to the podcast, we do association sales in membership, advertising, sponsorships, and exhibits. All of that work over the years has also helped us to develop about 40% of our revenue coming from consulting in the same area. Value proposition, dues levels, membership categories, sponsorship pricing and inventory. Our ability to have the consulting work and the sales work in all of this same area was really important because in some cases, the sales were really dried up, especially in sponsorship. The membership sales activity stayed pretty consistent. If we didn't have those multiple streams, we would have had a problem. Number 4, however, kind of leads into that, and that is remaining focused. So the consulting and sales work was a little bit different in terms of the revenue stream, but we remain focused on organizational growth. The number 5 survival tip, know what you're best at. What is the core? It was really about how to describe value to our prospects. That's what I learned. And there was a pull to get into meeting management, and we've lost some business because we've been fairly focused and not maybe a all-inclusive consulting operation. But I never thought I would be the best at meeting management or expositions or trade shows. I think we're the best in membership development and strategies for sales with trade associations. So when I go back at that, I think about a survival skill of almost adopting that old Jack Welch theory of be number 1 or number 2 at something, if not get out of it. The other thing that I learned, I think this is number 6, get paid for what you do. There are a lot of sales groups in the association space and others, kind of came from advertising, that salespeople or sales agencies will do sales work and business development on commission only. We earn a commission, to be sure. We get paid on commission, but I also get paid to pick up the phone, to craft email campaigns, to hold webinars for non-members, to sift through your crappy old prospect list, to track all of that through Salesforce and do incredible campaigns and sales development campaigns. And I get paid a retainer to do that on top of our commission. Now, we're not the cheapest guy in town. We lose some folks because they think they can get it for commission only. But I can tell you this, if during the pandemic we were a commission only shop, I would be broken out of business. And here's a message, just a little sidebar, for my friends in the association space that think you're getting a deal because you pay internal or external sales teams commission only. You're not getting their best work. Believe me, you're not getting their best work because they're just going to go to the easy stuff. And there's no such thing as the easy stuff now, for sure. The other survival tip that I learned, number 7, is I set up a crisis plan, I think in late March. I set criteria. When I get to this point, I'm going to pull these levers. When I get to this next point, if it happens, I'm going to pull these levers. If I'm at this point, well, it's over. I need to kind of pull up stakes and try to do something else to survive. That plan, where I was thinking about it before the crisis or in the early stages, gave me comfort that I had thought through this without being in a crisis situation. I was more proactive about it. When the crisis did occur, what's the old adage? Everybody's got a strategy until you get hit in the mouth. I felt like I put a strategy together before I got hit in the mouth, but it helped me at knowing how to respond when I do get hit in the mouth, what to do. There are probably more things, but these kind of popped for me right away. We're going to be up this year somewhere between 5 and 10%. We'll see how the last few days go. I think that's been positive. I count my blessings. We've had a lot of great partners that have stuck with us, and I appreciate it. But it is a knife fight every day. And this is the most difficult time since I started this business. All that being said, we can still pay people. We're still probably delivering the very best client value because we've got better at all this because we've had to. So those are my thoughts for you today. Hey, I would love to send you a copy of my book, complimentary, Association Hustle. Just email me, jp@murraycompany.com, and I'll get you a free copy. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next week.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of JP Murray's Association Hustle Podcast. We'd love to connect with you. Check out our blogs at murraycompany.com and subscribe to our weekly newsletter. You can also connect with JP on LinkedIn and Twitter at JP Murray, as well as the Murray Company's Instagram and Facebook page. To purchase a copy of JP's book, Association Hustle, Top Strategies for Association Growth, go to jpmurray.com.